inspiration for this movie?
I decided to start to make a smartphone movie, which I've done here at the conference.
Useful piece of advice. Never rule anything out. If someone has an idea, never say, that's not going to work. You try it, and you see if it works. Because you never know. Including yourself. If you have a crazy idea, try the crazy idea.
I can't imagine anything more exciting about the future of cinema than the making of movies with smartphones. And I can only say that after having 4 beers, because I don't know if I would have said that earlier today.
It's my favorite camera ever invented.
Oh, it's perfect.
What's a smartphone?
So here's something that every film school should teach you. A dolly in slowly is called a Mickey Rooney.
But a slow dolly out.
I guess it's a slow dolly, it's still a Mickey Rooney, because it's a little creep.
For the most part, I think the most important part of teaching film is conveying how films work.
What I get to do is to teach students how to think critically and analytically about not just the historic films, but what we're making today, the film and the television.
I find that in an age of changing technology where you can make a film on practically any device for practically $0, the most important thing is story development.
The most important thing about documentary filmmaking from my point of view is, in a nutshell, helping people, or not people, but usually people, to tell their stories or tell your own stories.
When it comes to documentary film, I'm always looking for really interesting characters.
The most important thing about being a director is knowing what you want, or talking to people that are also there working on the scene, on the film, to find out what you want. You don't want to be the director that doesn't know the answer or doesn't know where to go to find the answer.
The most important thing about directing is communicating your vision as a storyteller and giving the audience an experience that you create for them.
Director tells the story. That's what I say now that I'm teaching it. What I used to say when I was directing was that the director is the official point of view, and the director needs to make it work.
The camera, Kodak. You put the Kodak, you get the camera between you.
I think the screenwriting the script of a show or a movie is the most important part. Whether you have great actors, a great producer, $1 million, it's going to be a crappy movie if the script isn't good.
So before you get encumbered by too many rules of screenwriting and you think too hard, just remember, if you want to show something, show it in contrast. That's the easiest way to be dramatic. Cheers.
Smartphone, backwards walking.
Nice and steady too.
Yeah.
Look at you counterbalancing with your elbows there.
The most important thing about lighting, cinematography, is to have a really great crew around you that you can trust and not be afraid to take chances. Go for the motivational lighting that'll fit the narrative, even if you don't even know how to do it yet.
So producing, yes, really the most important aspect of producing, or the most important aspect a person should have, is to be organized and to be assertive. You have to make things happen.
Oh, we're in your movie.
I'm a producer. I love producing. It requires an extreme amount of organizational skills, and I think it's really, really fun. And the producer is the person who makes sure that everything happens in the order that it needs to happen with the people who need to make it happen.
Smart movie selfie. What's up?
The most important thing about sound for film is to be thinking about it the whole way through the process, in your pre-production, location scouting, on set, and then in post, and never just assume it's going to happen.
There's only art.
The most important thing about editing, you ask, in my opinion, is conveying your story. Whether it's crystal clear or 100% vague and cerebral, you're telling your story. That's it.
The most important thing about editing for me is to never forget your story. So every time you're trying to make a decision on where to cut or who to cut to, it comes from story and performance.
So I think my paper for next year is going to be Jen Poland, Meta Auteur.
That's it. Yay. Thank you.
And really, I don't know what I just said.